Well, hello everybody! Welcome back to another video. This video is actually quite a special one. For those of you who are aware, this is, well, as of recording, it's 2 days, but when this is posted, today marks the 3-year anniversary to when I first posted my first ever video on the channel. And I thought I'd celebrate this year's anniversary with a little more of a special video. Something that's been on the back of my mind and wanting to make for a while now. Now, before I get into it, all I gotta say is, the journey so far has been it's been a long one. It's been quite the ride. It hasn't been an interesting one, but it's been a nice one. And hopefully I can continue to continue making videos that hopefully will soon reach out to an audience, and an audience that can expand, because I do quite a lot of variety. It's more so because there's just so much I like to do. I don't want to focus on just one thing and then miss out on a bunch of others. But nonetheless, when this video is uploaded, it marks the 3-year anniversary. And today's special video, which I'm pretty sure you guys have already read the title, which I'm pretty sure you got, it'll something that makes sense. But one big question among all of Xenoverse, among the entire community, is like fans wanting one thing specifically. Not a transformation, not certain buffs, but it's a story mode. One piece of story that could change Xenoverse forever. I mean, a netcode fix would be nice and all, but that's not the point. That's not. It's one of many things. This thing isn't specifically too much talked about because not many people have really come up with a conclusion. I think I have figured out one of the possibly the best way for Dragon Ball Xenoverse to implement this one thing. And what is that one thing? That is the Tournament of Power. Now, right now we're in the home screen, but I'm going to slowly go on as to what I mean. But for now, we need to go into the character select screen. Now, for those of you who may or may not be aware with Xenoverse, I'm not. You guys can look at those names if you want. You're not gonna get to see any of those cacks. But for those of you who do know, in Xenoverse, you can choose up to a variety of 5 races. 1 being Majin, 2 being Saiyan, 3 Earthling, 4 Namekian, and 5 Frost Demon, aka Frieza race, but I prefer Frost Demon. Because Frieza's an absolute... Ooh, insert word there. But among all these 5 races, 3 of them have you can choose between gender, being... You can choose for either a female or male Majin, Saiyan, or Earthling. It's nice and it adds a bit of variety. Namekians and Frost Demons, they don't technically... Namekians more so don't have a gender. Frost Demons, they've mostly been all male, even though there's only been 2 of them. But most of them tend to be male, and the way they are designed, it seems that they are pretty much just a male-dominant race. Well, they don't have females. They're kind of like gender neutral, because they don't have either. I'm pretty sure Namekians don't have it either, but that's not the point. The point is that these two are technically... These two technically have a more so of a male set of voice. So it makes sense why they would be more so of a male-dominant race, because they mostly give male voice. I'm pretty sure they technically could identify as both, but pretty much everyone calls Namekians hymns. Same with Frost Demons. But, again, that's not the point. That's not the point. So, as you all know, now, getting out of here, and we'll log into Censura, since he is technically the main face of Xenoverse. Delta over here being one who I only used for one video because Censura was still underleveled at the time. But let's log into Censura. Now, for those of you who are unaware, I'm going to head to the time nest right now and kind of go into a little more depth as to more so how CACs can be implemented into the Tournament of Power. It seems like still kind of like a far-fetched idea, something that won't be implemented for a long time, maybe, possibly, into Xenoverse 3, and I swear to God, at the very least, tomorrow they're going to give us some more details, hopefully during Bandai Namco's E3, because this is recorded on a Monday. When they do decide to do their E3, they give us more like information or whatever. Maybe some cutscenes of the next Legendary Pack 2. Hopefully, like dialing back some of the cutscenes, because there's only one cutscene that they technically didn't spoil, but most of the others were kind of spoiled, which kind of sucks. They kind of lost some of their hype. But okay, and it sucks that you can only run in this. But what I'm going to get into is as you all know, again, there are 5 races technically. There's 8 character slots. That way you can technically make one of each race, including male or female. But we're going to go in just with the specific races such as Majin, Saiyan, Earthling, Namekian, and Frost Demon. Now, going into the Battle with Universe 6 saga, we need, let's see, Y, which are the cuts. Wait. Oh, well. I think, okay then. Okay, well that sucks. Okay, I'm gonna cut right here real quick because I am not sure how I exactly show off the specific cutscene that I'm wanting to show. So give me a second. Okay, I do apologize in case like I switched to Japanese voice because that's what I personally before, because the lip sync in Xenoverse is getting honestly kind of. If you guys don't know what I mean, go and check out the last Xenoverse video, which is on my case of Legendary Pack 1 doing the whole thing. If you go to one of the scenes where Fuse says, "This time Rift is extra special," the lip sync is just, to where I just had to switch back to Japanese voices. But, okay, that's not the point. This is the cutscene I was talking about. We can just skip all this dialogue here. Okay, this is pretty much okay, skipping the fact that they're more or less discussing to us about the Tournament of Destroyers. This is the cutscene I am going on about. The second introducing cutscene this is technically the first. Yes. This is the first DLC, and one thing that is still sick to the Xenoverse till this day, for whenever I'm on this game, is the damn loading screens. It takes too long to load. Now, as you guys can hear, it is Japanese voice, but I will go read over it as it goes along. But Beerus is referring to Goku right here. I will more or less. Boo is irrelevant here because Boo never participated in the tournament. Now, right here, it more or less them believing that Goku is how Goku isn't here, and how they're just gonna go on without him. Yeah. Yeah, we can just skip all this. Okay, so that way I don't have to jump right into I think I'm actually gonna have to play the DLC real quick, just to I guess skip this whole section. But to sum it up, after I real quick, Goku more or less a time distortion was caused, pretty much making Goku believe that the tournament was on a different day, making him forget, with us having to fill in for Goku for the meantime, because he was the one who started. He was the first participant in the Tournament of Destroyers. Now, I'm going to get a little more in-depth to it after I do this whole, cutscene thing, the whole gameplay thing. So, give me, about a little bit, and we'll be right back with... And we are back. Okay, so what I was going on about is pretty much... Let's see, does it even... No, it does not show it, because it's pretty much these are pretty much, things right before combat, I guess. Which is kind of, except for this one, that scene's still sick, but, okay. So pretty much, Goku had forgotten it made him forget, made him believe that the tournament date was on a different day. We had to fill in for him in order to kind of fill the gap that was left for Goku. And we kind of filled his spot in the tournament. Now, I'm going to go back into more or less what now going back to each individual race, we can... Bandai Namco could use that same concept. The whole... Maybe come up with a better excuse instead of something like that. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's something. It sounds like something Goku would do, which is why people would just like brush it aside. But I guess like I feel like, but the other people who I'm about to mention wouldn't more so make much sense. Something would have to like make sure that they couldn't. Now, what I am implying is that Now, everyone knows that there are 5... again, back to the 5 races. Each race could fill in for their respective character. What do I mean? Well, for example, let's go with Frieza and Majin Buu. Majin Buu was meant to participate, but due to him pretty much going into a state of hibernation, as the anime had said, he was not able to compete. So, Majin Buu was pretty much out of the picture. Goku had resorted to coming up with Frieza during that time. But we could come up with Frieza had pretty much filled Buu's spot, more or less covering the fact that, well, Buu was pretty much replaced. So, I'm going to go into detail on what they could do for each respective race. Now, for the Majins, we're gonna go left to right. For the Majins would replace Frieza because Frieza had replaced Buu, so it makes sense. Something they could come up with something, because I'm not gonna go into too much detail because it's unlike Bandai. I don't know who's in charge of Xenoverse, but they don't tend to listen to us all that much. They did for the Hero Vote, but about everything else, not so much. So they can come up with it on their own, because I'm not gonna give them anything if they're not gonna give back. They can pretty much like replace Buu. Say that something had caused. Say that Goku had. I guess Frieza had pretty much never. No, something. Pretty much the time distortion showed that Frieza was not able to show up. And before I continue, each race has their own individual time distortion, meaning each race would have a different time distortion that would allow the specific race to be involved. For Majins, for example, Majins, they would replace Buu as well as Frieza. So, something could cause a distortion where Frieza was never picked and they were short a member. Frieza was such a big part to play in the actual in the show, to where he was pretty much one of the final contestants standing. So I feel like his role is very important. So we can go with Majins. Pretty much we step in for Frieza before Goku could even come up with the assumption. And because as Time Patrollers we are very well off with Goku as well as Beerus now, they would allow us to compete as a extra fighter, because we are technically one of the strongest Time Patrollers for each respect, going along with the story mode. We will replace Buu and all is settled. They would have to come up with a few cacks to replace that. I guess, for example, some of the people that Frieza had fought. For example, Frieza had fought Kaba. They would have to change that. Frieza and Gohan had a little fight. Frieza also helped Gohan fight Topo. And Frieza had helped Goku in the final stand against Jiren. They would have to switch. They could go through certain cutscenes, skip certain fights, whatever. It's Dims, which I'm pretty sure is the head. But everyone seems to point at Dims, so I'm going to point at Dims too. They can do that. Now the same thing for the now I know I said right to left, but it makes sense to go right into Frieza's. It's pretty much the same thing for them. Frieza's and Majin's would pretty much have a similar like time distortion, because these two would pretty much be the ones that are replacing Frieza and Buu. So it's the only thing that makes sense, and it makes sense to me at the very least, and I'm pretty sure it would make sense to a lot of fans. Now going on to Saiyans. Now, above all else, this one would be the most, like, I guess, in a sense, the trickiest choice to do. Because there are 3 Saiyans in the whole Tournament of Power. There was Goku, of course, Vegeta, and Gohan. Dispo, I mean, as of yet, we don't know if Dispo is going to be picked, because I'm pretty sure he was one of the characters who was chosen for the hero vote. Though I don't know who picked because it still hasn't been announced yet. I feel like they will announce it at E3, but back onto the main point. Those 3 Saiyans are pretty much they're 3 key important characters. We can't replace Goku because of Ultra Instinct, but you can replace Vegeta and Gohan. Gohan because we already have his potential unleashed, and Vegeta because we have his evolution. And I don't think they're going to be giving us Ultra Instinct anytime soon. And at the very least, maybe not even at all. Maybe like as a thing for if they decide to do another Xenoverse game. This is taking quite a bit out of me. Okay, but we can replace rather for Vegeta. It could be going on along the lines of that they gave him some time to some of the energy to pretty much make him more stern on his decision of not even being able to go, even though Bola would have been born, because the only reason why Vegeta decided to go is because of Whis. Vegeta could make a decision that he will stay by Bulma's side now that the child is born. They could add that along the line, pretty much making sure that Vegeta does not go, and therefore pretty much replacing Vegeta because he wasn't too keen on going into the Tournament of Power. It makes the most sense. Gohan, on the other hand, he could be replaced, but he's not that much replaceable. Because he was the first few people who learned about the fate of the Tournament of Power because Goku had informed him. Gohan decided because he realized he needed to train after fighting Lavender, and he wasn't too much of an important role, but he played a big part in it. He played a somewhat big part because he's also part of the reason why Dispo was eliminated. He also eliminated other people in the tournament. They could make pacts between the Saiyans and Earthlings as they please, maybe within some of the other races, whatever. But Vegeta is the more so replaceable one because he wasn't too keen on competing in the first place. So they could pretty much replace him and put our Saiyan in. Pretty much like us popping in saying, well, we will compete and we are willing. Supreme Kai Time could jump in saying, along with Elder Kai, saying that we have a candidate that we are willing to lend you for the Tournament of Power, since this does involve our fate as well. Because Universe 7, the whole Time Patrol is part of Universe 7. So Universe 7 is affected by this too. So are the Time Patrollers. So we can pretty much be involved in this because it does make sense as all, like, not only just for the Saiyans but the entire Time Patrol as a whole. So we can fill in for Vegeta's spot, and all is done. Earthlings. Now I feel like this one is more so of a troublesome option because there are only 3 Earthlings that competed out of the entire Tournament of Power, being Krillin, Master Roshi, and Tien. Those 3 are the only 3 Earthlings that compete in the Tournament of Power. Roshi, Krillin, and Goku would end up having to convince Krillin because they wanted both, because Goku both wanted Krillin and 18 and they were available. Something could have come along the lines of that maybe during the fight when Goku was trying to get Tien and Roshi along, maybe something came along the line of that the Tien's village wasn't that highly damaged, so our Earthling could fill in his spot. Master Roshi, because it's Master Roshi. We all know what he would do with the prize money that Bulma was going to give every single fighter. We know what Roshi was going to do. I will say it because I'm not trying to get in trouble with YouTube, even though I'm technically a little more free because I'm not a monetized channel. I'm still not trying to get in trouble. But everyone knows what Roshi would do with that much Zenny. I don't remember how much it was. I think it was 1 million. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna stick with 1 million. So Tien's village wasn't highly damaged, so we can pretty much fill in for Tien's spot. It's not it's a bit more of an... I know I said I wouldn't go over details on what they could do, but I end up going over it anyway because I just want to make... I feel like this thing, an explanation would make this help this make more sense. Next is Namekians. The only Namekian out of the entire Tournament of Power in Universe 7 was Piccolo. Piccolo is a much harder person to more so like replace. Oh, okay. And he is he's one of the more difficult races on how we could fill in. Now, I'm going to think it over real quick as I take a quick sip of water because I have been talking quite a bit and I am getting quite parched. So, if y'all are thirsty, this is the time to take a quick drink to get off the video. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's the good stuff. Okay, back onto the video. Namekians. We would have to replace Piccolo. Though for a case like him, for Piccolo, who was also keen on joining the Tournament of Power, it comes down to quite a difficult decision on how you can do Namekians. The only way this would really work is Dimps would ever do something like this is if each race, if they decide to take what I'm speaking of, because I don't think this will ever reach them, but if it does somehow reach them, they need plenty of options because Dimps doesn't do that much aside from giving us good story and good, well, main story, somewhat of a good story, but good like cutscenes and like having us fill in during the DLC. They didn't do so well for the Legendary Pack 1 because I fell off just us like joining in out of nowhere. Especially since that, I mean, they would obviously let us fly in the Tournament of Power. Because, I mean, flying is one of the key opponents, and I don't know how they could change that. At the very least, not yet. Maybe they could. They do have something in mind. But Namekians. Now, Piccolo has been one of the bigger cases because he's been the biggest one to figure out. How do you replace Piccolo in order to fill in the spot for the Namekians? Piccolo was Gohan's partner at the whole tournament. He helped. Him and Gohan were a team up to the point to where Piccolo was eliminated. Now, something could have happened to Piccolo. Let's say, no, they wouldn't be. They couldn't have go along as Piccolo couldn't have been found because you could literally go to Dende and Popo and you could pretty much find Piccolo almost anywhere on the planet. Okay. I don't know why it took me so much trouble to space out. The only way I could see Namekians possibly filling in, is to replace the MVP of the whole Tournament of Power, which is Android 17. It sounds crazy but here's the thing. He was also a case to where he wasn't too keen on joining Goku in the whole Tournament of Power. He was willing to let it all end there because he did not want to leave the island. Something could have pretty much happened to where the space poachers decided to not come across Earth and just decided to skip it and they didn't want to take They didn't want to take any chances and decided to just skip Earth. Maybe coming along the lines of time distortion caused rumors to spread about how 17 was a powerful warrior and protecting the animal that that was in his protection, pretty much causing the space poachers to leave Earth alone. That way we could not fill in for 7. That way 17 would not join. That is the only other way Namekians could join in. And if they don't, and if Dims doesn't want to go with what I said for them, and if people don't like what I said for Namekians, you guys could also do it for Earthlings. Namekians and Earthlings could have a similar case to where 17 didn't want to go into the Tournament of Power, so we had Earthlings and Namekians because 17, even though he is technically an android, he was once originally human. So I feel like Earthlings, if people don't like the TN option, and because I feel like people would rather go more a lot farther into the story. 17 could be replaced with the Earthlings and Namekians. Because Piccolo, he's a big role, and he was very keen on joining. Replacing him wouldn't be right. Now, and pretty much in a summary, out of the characters who weren't too keen, that way it makes a little more sense. Majin Buu, he wasn't able to compete. Frieza was in hell. We could easily jump in before Goku could even make the decision to have Frieza come along. Saiyans, Vegeta wasn't too keen on joining, so we could replace Vegeta. And all as well. Earthlings, you could rather replace Tien, or if you want to go with a combo batch, Earthlings and Namekians can replace Android 17, making them the MVPs. Same with Frieza's. For Frieza, it would be rather between the Majins and the Frost Demons, because we could easily just jump in and say, hey, we could fill in for Majin Buu because so-and-so reason, and Frieza isn't going to be able to participate. Now, in total, like, every single race can have their very own time distortion. This is more something that could be very, very highly utilized, because it gives each race their own individual. I'm sorry, I accidentally hit about it. It would give the race a bit more like variety as to why you should pick so and so character. If you want to like replace, like say, if you want to replace Frieza because he was more so at the end of the turn of the power, you could pick a Majin or a Frost Demon. If you want to fill in for Frieza, if you wish you were in Frieza's spot, you could go with Frost Demons or the Majins. That's why I feel like that's a bit more clear of a sense. If you want to take Vegeta's spot, since he wasn't too keen on joining the power and showing off your evolution state, you could go with the Saiyans. If you wish to be the MVP of the whole story, you go with Earthlings or Namekians. This would add a bit of variety as to why you should choose so-and-so race. And instead of just giving us the same, similar DLC, because, I mean, every single content creator has a specific main race. Some people main Frost Demons. Some people main Namekians, Earthlings, Saiyans, and Majins, along with their specific genders for these three. It would give a bit more variety as to why you should pick a so-and-so race, aside with their basic stats. Male Majins have higher defense the more stamina they have, but it gets weaker with the less. And female Majins having the fastest stamina recovery. Male Saiyans having high attack power, a lower amount of health but more attack power, and getting a Zenkai boost when they reach low. Males, they have stronger melee attacks, but their buffs last longer. You guys can read it there. There's female Saiyans can use Z assist more frequently. They have better ki and stamina recovery, but lower health. Females have lower health, but and they are kind of like a good combo race. Now, Earthlings, they have balanced stats for both offense and defense. So if you're looking for a well-rounded character, this is the go. And ki automatically refills as an attack rises when maxed. So when your ki is fully maxed out, you get a small attack boost. Females have stronger ki blast supers. Males have stronger strike supers. They're more so more basic because, well, there's not too much they could have because we're Earthlings. There was a lot we could do for going along these three, the 5 races and 8 characters total. There was so much we could do. There was so much Dims could do. This is how, in my opinion, in the best way possible, Dragon Ball Xenoverse can interact with the Tournament of Power. To me, it is possibly one of the only ways we can interact with the Tournament of Power without giving us an extra slot. But if Dims wants to be lazy, they could go along the lines of adding an 11th. Instead of 10 warriors, we go around 11, making instead of an 80 battle royale, an 88 battle royale. If they want to be lazy. And now that I've said it, and if this video does reach them, they're probably going to go with the second option instead of all the detailed options that we could have, and along with the possibly hype stuff that we could do, and obviously picking a race to go along with the tournament power. I mean, even when that's the case, and most people tend, I mean, if you're like been around since like since the universe has been released, or since some of the earliest DLC has been allowed, you would at least have some characters. I have out of everything, I have, because I don't want to reveal, you guys saw my female Saiyan, but I have an Earthling, as you guys know, as Delta Hunter. I have a Saiyan. I have a female Majin. I have a Frost Demon, as you guys know, as Ensure, but I will never make a Namekian, because I've tried making a Namekian and playing them, but they are just not for me. Not for me, so I will never make a Namekian. Tried it, didn't work out, never happening again. That's pretty much, so it pretty much, again, it adds so much variety on what they could do. This is pretty much and along with this being a possibility for Xenoverse DLC, it is also my 3rd year anniversary video, and this is where it ends. I have gone over as to how each race could be applied to each a specific character's unit. Majins and Frost Demons replacing Frieza, Saiyans replacing Vegeta, Earthlings replacing Tien or 17, along with and Namekians also replacing 17. That is pretty much it. There are technically more characters, more, I guess, character options, but there are only 4 characters that we can replace, being Frieza, Vegeta, and Tien, and 17. Those are the 4 characters that can be replaced. Because Tien's village, what if something happened to her? It pretty much prevented Tien's village from being damaged during when Goku was trying to recruit them during the fight. Tien would have no option, because he would want to keep an eye on his latest in student. I forget her name. I keep talking, but again, this is the end of the video. This is pretty much my summary on how each character can have their own specific DLC, replacing a specific character if just one thing was changed. If you guys did like it, do like this idea and how I more or less went into detail with every single character, please do give this video a like. It really would go a long way for me. Subscribe and turn on my post notifications. That way you guys are always aware of whenever I upload on the channel. And if you aren't already, make sure to follow me on my social media platforms, such as Twitter at DelGitoD, or at my Instagram at Phantom_Cross with 1 S. And if you haven't already, make sure to share this video around with your friends, because who knows, maybe this video may catch someone's attention. I am very tired from all this, because I've been speaking on completely in one go, and I am tired. My voice is getting dry, and I need more water. But as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Love y'all and take care. Bye.